Good evening and welcome to today's episode of the Random Album Generator Game here at Custard. This is episode 3 and today's selections have been chosen by somebody called SBRG. Right, I have absolutely no idea who SBRG is. If you want to make yourself known to us in a better way than that, then feel free to do so. But what I will tell you is, first of all, thank you very much for watching the videos and for taking the time to give me some random numbers. And also, I think that you have probably picked what will turn, no matter how long we do this for, this will probably be one of the best episodes, because there's going to be some stuff in here that a lot of you won't have heard of, and I think a lot of you are going to like it. And when you do get to hear it, you're probably going to go, well, it was worth tuning in to that channel just to find that. So what I'm going to do from now on is I'm going to put a link in the comments below where you can listen to some tracks off the albums that I'm talking about, so that you can get a chance to, without going and looking for yourself, because I know that's what a lot of you do anyway. And these days most of the links are up there on YouTube. It's a bit of a thing for me as to whether it's right or not, because I've got a lot of friends who are musicians who get ripped off by streaming and all that sort of stuff, and says, should you get free access to the music to listen to it? Well, you get free access to the music to listen to it if it's on the radio, don't you? So I don't see anything wrong with letting you have a listen, and then it might encourage you to go out and buy if there are any musicians out there, or any musicians who are involved in these albums that I'm going to talk about disagree with that or have a different view. Come and let me know. But today, anyway, I'm going to put up the links so you can hear some stuff, because I think at least with 2 of these albums, probably the majority of you won't be that familiar with them. So let's get on with it, shall we? The first album came out in 1971, and this is a crossover of so many different styles. It's unbelievable. Now, when I show you the cover in a minute, you'll probably think, oh yeah, it's classic 70s rock album. Oh no, oh no, oh no, oh no. Now, there's the album cover. There it is. It's Ruth Copeland. I'm going to do this so you get to see it in colour, not in black and white, because I've got this funky thing on again. Now, there it is. Ruth Copeland, I Am What I Am. Now, who, what do you say, is Ruth Copeland? Well, Ruth Copeland was from the North East, County Durham. Did a bit of singing in her early years, and then went off to America, to Detroit, which was where her sister was living. She's already made an album by this point called Self-Portrait. This is the second album. Now, the thing is, she was spotted by somebody called Edwin Starr. Yeah, that Edwin Starr. And they all thought, well, she's good. And then she got involved with Dozier Holland and all them, and Invictus Records, and they decided, now these are not my words, these are words taken from history, probably not necessarily appropriate today, but I'm going to use them anyway. They decided that they were going to make this lady, Ruth Copeland, the white Diana Ross. Now, it didn't quite pan out like that, because it's far, far, far too funky and soul-y and gospel-y and bluesy and rocky. Now, this is, if you like Janis Joplin, you'll like this. If you like Joni Mitchell, you'll like this. If you like Laura Nyro, you'll like this. It's got the lot. It's got rock, it's got blues, it's got soul, it's got gospel. It's got 2 Rolling Stones covers on it. Gimme Shelter and Play With Fire. Gimme Shelter goes on about 10 minutes. The track in between those on the side 2 called Don't You Wish You Had What You Had When You Had It, it just turns into this brilliant sort of groove that you want to go on for about an hour, you know? But it sadly doesn't. It just stops a little bit too quickly. It's wonderful. I mean, you've just got so many different styles. The first track in the middle could be Janis Joplin. Then you go into some gospel-y type stuff. You go into some folky Laura Nyro type stuff. I don't like necessarily just comparing people with other people, because I don't think that's necessarily fair, but I need to give you some sort of idea. This lady made 2 albums. The people involved in it, George Clinton, Funkadelic Parliament, so you can tell it's got all that soul and funk and everything. It needs to be listened to, which is why I've got to put you the link. I just want you to go and listen to it. Don't matter which track you listen to, but at least try and have a snippet of more than one, because they're all so different. It's a really, really wonderful album. Came out in 1971. In the end, I think she made another album after this. Maybe made a comeback in later years, but this is brilliant. So is the first one, Self-Portrait, but this is one that came. I'm glad this is the one that came out, because this one is my favourite of the two, and it really is. It's one of those, it's almost like a soundtrack to a movie type thing. It's just got that chill out Saturday night funky groovy feel to it. It's just brilliant. Really is a good album. I know I say a lot of the time, oh, it's just brilliant, go listen to it, but that's really what you need to do. And you look at this will appeal to people who like rock music, to people who like blues music, to people who like soul music, to people who like funk music, to people who like disco music, gospel music, everything. It's just got a bit of this, a bit of a lost classic, this. If you can grab yourself a copy of this, you will not, under any circumstances, regret it at all. Ruth Copeland, I Am What I Am, the first of today's albums. Right, album number 2 today is an album I know very well. It's an album you will know that I know very well, because it's from one of my favourite bands. I can nearly all now going, oh, pretty Deep Purple. It's not Deep Purple, but it's one of my other big bands. I reckon that this is one of, if not the best debut album ever. It's a supergroup of sorts. I think it was a supergroup, whether they were built as a supergroup at the time, I'm not overly sure. They were the first band to be signed to Led Zeppelin's Swan Song label in America. They were still on Ireland over here. Have you guessed it yet? Bad Company. This is the first Bad Company album from 1974, Bad Coke. Now, there's anybody out there who doesn't know, Bad Company, 4 people. Paul Rodgers on the vocals, Simon Kirke on the drums, both on free. Mick Ralphs on the guitar from Mott the Hoople. Boz Burrell on the bass from King Crimson. They get together and become Bad Company. And what do you get? You get one of the biggest bands in the world ever. Now, what happened with these is, when they were a British band, they got adopted by America. They went to America to, I think Paul Rodgers said, Paul Rodgers said, they went to America to do a tour in 1974 and didn't come back for 4 years or something. Well, maybe Simon Kirke said that. They did come back, because I've got some live shows from the comeback, but they were almost permanently on tour in America for about 4 or 5 years. They are massive, playing great big, massive halls, almost the opposite to what you'd think about Free, because Free were just more of a sort of a laid-back, bluesy sort of band. This was a proper, full-blown stadium rock band. And what have we got on this first album? Well, it's a classic. Can't Get Enough. If you haven't heard of Can't Get Enough, where have you been for the last 40 or 50 years? Rocksteady, great strutting track, been covered by loads and loads of people you wouldn't imagine. You just look it up and see about how many people have covered that in different genres, as they say. Ready for Love? Now, that was a Mott the Hoople song, of course. It was on the same album as All the Young Dudes. Well, it was called All the Young Dudes, wasn't it? Slightly different version, in fact they've taken out some of the verses and stuff and changed around a little bit. Obviously Paul Rodgers singing it takes it to a new level altogether. Then you got Don't Let Me Down with Sue and Sonny on the backing vocals. Sue and Sonny will be coming up at a later date, I'm sure, because they knocked out a couple of albums themselves in the early 70s. Then you've got the classic title track, of course, Bad Company, theme to an imaginary western sort of thing, which could so easily have been a free track, couldn't it? Written by Paul Rodgers and Simon Kirke. Then the probably lesser known track on the album, The Way I Choose, but again, brilliant. Plus Moving On, the second single, and then Seagull, which is just Paul Rodgers at his very, very best. So there you go, Bad Company, the first album, an original thing, gatefold sleeve, on the old Island label. First album on Swan Song, though, in America, and it got to firstly the top of the charts in America before Zeppelin had a chance to put anything out on their own label, which was pretty good. If you want a more in-depth review of that, I did a piece many years ago, which is now free to air. I'll put the link to the written blog down here as well. There's a piece called Good Company, I think it's called, and it goes through all of the Bad Company studio albums through the Paul Rodgers era, so you can listen or you can read to my opinion on those, and that's been picked up and used in one of few other publications, so you've probably heard some of it without realising it already. But I'll put the link in there. That's that. One of my best bands, Bad Company, definitely my top 5. And this, their first album, did it get any better than this? I don't know as it did. Bad Company, one of the best debut albums ever. So where do we go next? So we were going to go totally different through most of the stuff. Well, yeah, the first album and Bad Company, you could argue that, yeah, they've both got full of rock, soul and blues type things, and they're out not all that many years apart, 71 to 74. Where we go next, the next one's a CD. Go out of the CD tray. Now, this is somebody who, I don't really know how you would describe it. It's almost he was a singer-songwriter, but he's almost like a poet or a visionary or something as well. Some great albums from years and years ago. Now, I didn't discover this chap, who I would say, what are we going to do? Lump him in there with jazz, and with an acoustic sort of folk, and a bit of rhythm and blues, and a bit of sort of pop and all that sort of stuff as well, but a soul, with a funky gospel stuff within there as well. I didn't come across this chap until I saw him in the 90s, mid-90s, with, I didn't actually see him, I went to see somebody else. I went to see Beth Orton. Beth Orton, she turned out her first solo album many, many years ago, Central Reservation. And she had a special guest, and she made an EP with him. And I'd never heard of this bloke. He just blew me away. There's a bloke called Terry Callier. I don't know if you can see that. That's Terry Callier. There we go. This is his album, Looking Out. This is the one that came out of the cupboard. There are probably 2 or 3 others in there that we'll talk about more on this one, but this one is just as good as them. Now, again, I'm not going to try and describe it too much, except for to say it's got that late night jazz sort of sound to it, but with a soul thing in there as well, and the gospel and the rhythm and blues and the jazz and all that. And it's some great lyrics, some profound words and all that sort of stuff. It's a really, really nice albums to listen to, and things to get you thinking as well. There's a brilliant remake of a Beatles track on it as well. Which one it was then? And I love it, isn't it? I've forgotten the title, but yeah. So again, there's a little bit of everything. It will take you to all sorts of places. It's a wonderful album, Terry Callier. If you've never heard of Terry Callier, find some Terry Callier. Listen to it. I'll put a link to this album. And sadly, he died a few years ago, so no longer with us. But he left an absolute ton of great music, which is so sort of accessible to everybody. Really, really good stuff. So hopefully I'm giving you some different things to listen to today. Ruth Copeland and Terry Callier. I'm sure most of the people watching this are well aware of Bad Company, so you probably didn't need me to tell you about that one, but that's what came out of the cupboard. So well done, SBRG, Ruth Copeland and Terry Callier. That's why I wanted to do this like this, rather than me just go and pick them, because the chances are I would have skimmed past them without thinking about it. So there you go. Now, I also can tell you that I've already got the next 2 episodes lined up, because the numbers have come in for them already, and the next episode is pretty good as well, pretty different as well. And I think today, are we going to say, did we get a Deep Purple connection? Because that seems to be the theme. Can we find a Deep Purple connection in every episode? Well, you can sort of loosely find a Deep Purple connection with Bad Company, can't you? Because Mick Ralphs and Simon Kirk all played on a lot of the Purple people solo albums, particularly John Lord, and I think didn't live too far away either. Also, after Paul Rodgers had left, 87, I think the second tour from the reformation of the Mark Till Up and Deep Purple, Bad Company with a special guest on the tour. So there's a sort of connection in there. Biggest connection for me is they're 2 of my biggest bands. But what I'm saying to you today is Terry Callier, and don't forget Ruth Copeland. This is an absolutely wonderful album. You can just see by looking at the artwork and the cover on the back. It's just a really nice album to have, and it's so different. You'll put it on and you'll just think, I've got anything else like this. Try them out. Let me know what you think. I'm really interested to see what people think of this Ruth Copeland, because it's one of my sort of, people come round, if I ever have visitors and they find me out here in the wilderness, it's the sort of album I still like, because they all say to me, well, put some music on, and it's like, what do you want? And they go, oh, you choose. And it's like, what do I do? What do I do? Do I play on something that I really like, that is like well known, or do I play on something obscure? This is one of the albums that I like to stick on because they go, wow, who's this? And hopefully I'll get lots of comments down below going, wow, now I know who that is, so I'm going to get a copy of that. So Ruth Copeland, Terry Callier, Bad Company, episode 3 of the random album generator game. I'll catch you all for episode 4 pretty soon. See you later.